kitchen tonight. We're gonna go in and make a yummy late night snack. Probably shouldn't, but we're gonna anyways. Come on. Okay, so I posted the recipe up on the screen here. You can pause it and take a screenshot if you want, and that way you can take it to the store with you. You're gonna need a big bowl, and in that big bowl you're gonna put 1 cup of flour, a half a cup of cornstarch, and 3/4 of a teaspoon of baking powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and 1 cup of water. Now, I just added a little water at first, and that was probably not a good idea because cornstarch tends to clump up. So I would recommend adding about at least 80% of your water and just start mixing it up. I said add only 80% of the water because it's always easier, I think, to add more water then and thin something out than if you put all the water in and you think it's too runny to try to figure out what it is you need to add, whether it's more flour or cornstarch to thicken it. So that's why I said I would add the 80% of your water, see where you're at, and then if it's still lumpy or still too thick, just add your remaining water. Mine took exactly the 1 cup of water, and I think it was a good consistency. It was kind of like a pancake batter, maybe a little thinner. You want it just to stick to the mushroom so you can get the panko crumbs to stick on. You don't want the batter to be too thick either. You want it to cook nice and end up being nice and crispy. So now I'm going to get my plate ready for when we take them out of the oil. I buy these little lunch bags and keep them around the house. They're so handy, and that's just a little extra oil absorber. So I washed and let my mushrooms dry thoroughly, and then I just trimmed the bottoms, gave them a fresh cut to trim them up good, and put toothpicks in them. Now this is the panko mix I used. It's just an off-brand. It was an Italian style. I like to get it with a little flavoring because panko itself is kind of bland. So you can put little seasoning in yourself, whatever you like. I got the Italian blend panko crumbs, and I also put a little bit of Lawry's garlic salt in it. But you don't have to do that. Just whatever tastes good to you. So you just dip them, roll them around, let them drip off. You can see I got a little impatient sometimes and I got a lot of dripping in my panko crumbs, but it's no big deal. Just keep going. I sped it up here a little bit so it wouldn't go on forever for you. And I learned that putting the toothpick in through the side of the mushroom is much better than the bottom. So that's what I would recommend. Because when you put it in through the side, then you can pretty much lay it pretty flat on your plate unless you have a big stem out the bottom, and that keeps the batter from dripping off them as they're setting there. So then we moved over to the stove and we've got our oil going, and I'm trying to test it here and see if it's ready. This is another Cooking at the Cabin series here, and I'm working with what I got here, so I don't have a thermometer. So I took a little bit of the lumpy panko there from the batter and dropped it in, but see, it's not bubbling very good there, so we're going to give it a little more time and get that oil a little bit hotter. So give it a little more time, put another one in, and still the same. I think I was kind of rushing it here. I think that oil should be a little hotter because you want a good little bubble around it. You don't want it to spit and spatter when you put it in, obviously, and you don't want them to burn. But you want them to boil a little more aggressively than that. So I just let the oil get heated up a little more before I added some more mushrooms. Found it's easier to get them off of that toothpick just with my fingers. Just make sure not to fry your fingers. Don't want that. So we'll get the rest in and get them boiling. And this is sped up a little here, but I'll show you on a normal speed what that bubble should look like. Okay, this is normal speed. It's a good little bubble going on. It's not so active though that it's going to spit and spatter at you. So you just get them in there, and I took a fork, and I'm not poking them with the fork. I'm just using the fork to flip them because that's all I've got. And just flip them over and keep rotating them and get them nice and golden brown. Now I sped it up again. See, they're getting brown. This is a great batter. It turns out really nice and crispy. It sticks to the mushrooms really well. Even when you cut them, you'll see that at the end of the video. Sometimes you go out to eat and you get the breaded fried mushrooms at a restaurant, and you bite into it, and the first bite, all the batter falls off because mushrooms are so moist underneath. This batter sticks really well, and it gets so crunchy. You'll see that too, or you'll hear it. So just keep the process going. Keep flipping them and rotating them. And this is how much I had left over. Now I had a small package of mushrooms because it's just me and my hubby here. And I think I dropped one on the floor, so that one went into the garbage. But I think I ended up with about 11 mushrooms, and I still had that much batter left over. And I still had quite a bit of panko left in my bowl, plus I had more in the container that I had bought. So you probably could do almost a couple dozen mushrooms with this recipe, with the measurements that I gave you. I was tapping them there. I had sound originally, but I took that off. But to hear how crunchy they are, they're nice and firm, and they're so good. Matter of fact, my hubby surprised me. Onion rings are his favorite, and his birthday is tomorrow. And he requested these instead of onion rings. I was shocked. That's how much he likes them. So, happy birthday, babe. I love you. I'm so grateful to God for you. Sorry, I had to get that in. He's my sweetie. Anyways, then I found this spatula works really well getting them out of the oil. But it took me to the last two to learn that, so... And we are done. Now we're going to get to enjoy them. So we'll season these ones up. Didn't get it before with a little sea salt. We're going to cut into one of these. I have my big steak knife here. See how nice and crispy they are? Now don't make a liar out of me. Stay stuck on. Look at that. See, that batter's still staying stuck. Taste one here. Don't get me. You don't want to watch me eat. It's not pretty. Want to try one, babe?
Sure.
Very hot. You gonna let me film you?
No. Those are so good.
Thanks. Pick them up like that when they're not steamy hot. Just bite right into them. They're a nice little snack for game night or something. And you can always season them up more. Like if you want to put other things in the panko, you can. I put a little garlic salt, a little bit of this, but not much really. And you could sprinkle that on them afterwards, or I don't know, I can imagine you could put whatever you want into the panko. I'm gonna make a dip for them. A little bit of ranch dressing. Little squirt of Tabasco. I didn't know they made this sriracha sauce. I looked for the regular kind I always buy, but all I could find was Tabasco brand. So I just mix a lot of ranch and a little bit of sriracha sauce because that stuff's spicy. To taste, to however you want it. I just made this little container because it was just me and my hubby, and excuse our double dipping. If I was having a party, I'd make a bigger bowl, and of course there'd be no double dipping. So anyways, you just make it to taste. It's good. Wanna try one, babe?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Tell me what you think. You can hear the crunch. What do you think of that? Spicy or too hot?
Perfect.
Give it a try, guys. You'll like them. Thanks so much to my little YouTube family for subscribing and stopping by and spending your time with me. And if you're new to this channel, I really appreciate you taking the time to check it out, and if you'd hit that subscribe button at the end of this video, sure would appreciate it. Would love for you to become part of our little family here. Thanks again. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.